G'day guys, and welcome back to the On Empire. This week we dig a little deeper on the engine of my AMC Javeline, plus finally we pick up my 440 Big Block Chrysler. So this week down at Dave's and going to be doing a little bit more work on my 440 before I take it home. We now have the rocker covers all installed, they're all painted up, they look sweet. I think all that's left is the harmonic balancer to paint. And today, the last thing we're going to do on this engine now, as Dave's getting stuck into it, is we're going to set the distributor up and run all the leads nice how Dave likes to do it, because he's very fussy. Want to get all that set up before the motor goes in the car. So we've gone with the ICE ignition on this. This was mainly what Dave uses, unless the customer wants otherwise, because yeah, wiring, tuning, all much better as far as Dave's concerned. And I think the price is probably similar anyway to like MSD or the likes of that. So yeah, got all the stuff here. Most of that goes home with me, but what comes out now is the distributor and the leads. We're going to make them all up on site, and we're going to get stuck into that right now. All right, so we're here in Dave's engine room. This is like cleaner than my house. My 440 sitting here looking prettier than the rest of them, to be honest with you. I think it's the only one that's actually finished, but yeah, there's all sorts from 202 small block Chryslers. There's a couple of Clevelands, maybe a Windsor over there, and there's probably a small block Chevy in here as well. There's always a few Chevs around the place. Yeah, this is where the magic happens, and a little bit more hands-on stuff happens in this room here. A lot of fine-tuning, measuring, cleaning. Yeah, all very fastidious stuff in here. Some pretty cool stuff up in the walls around. I don't know a great deal, but this is one of the drag cars that Dave's got the engine built for and does all the maintenance and truck days. Here's Dave, obviously at this track. I probably should clarify with Dave before, but I'm pretty sure this is something like a 500-600 plus cubic inch big block Chevy. I think it's Supercharged Outlaw is the class it runs in. I think it's run somewhere in the mid to maybe even low fives. So yeah, it does all sorts of race cars as well, like, you know, sprint cars, dirt track, circle racing. I think even sprint cars as well. This LS here, Dave's builds the motor for that, maintains that. Yeah, a lot of very high-end race cars. So mine is just pretty much a big old sluggy bloody 440 compared to what he usually does, but should be a beast. So really happy that it is on its final legs. To be honest with you, this motor would have been done years ago if it wasn't for me. So we're going to get stuck into this today, do some leads and take it home. All right, the leads are all in place, guys. They're all routed. Dave's super fussy about how they all are to length, and I agree, it does look way nicer. Spending a bit of time doing this right. We do need some clips separators to do this properly, which I haven't got at the moment. And we also are going to flip these around, because these are the plug ends, and the distributor cap end have like a little grommet on top, which is meant to clip into this top plate. But I don't want to run this, and I think it looks neater without. So the plan with this now is to cut these little dongles off, run them over the liner shirt and eat them up, and then the top should look nice and clean and not make a statement of a distributor. So let's do that now.
My favorite local pool. Don't dress me like a criminal. They
Alright, so I'm down here at Harman Engine Reconditioning, and we're having a look at the AMC V8, and fortunately when Chris seen it, he didn't seem too concerned about it. Obviously there's a few issues that need to be addressed on this thing, but Chris is good enough to let me tinker with this thing, strip it down a little bit further here in the shop, and then we're going to go through and just have a look at a few things before we shoot home. It's Friday night, so we won't be sort of staying here too late, but we're going to check the crank, and then whenever he gets some time, he's going to do a sonic test on it and a crack test on the block and the heads to make sure everything's all sweet. Because it pays to do those things. It's cheap insurance to make sure that it's worth even building. So we'll start tearing this thing down and yeah, have a bit of a look around. Alright, so we've got the crank on the rollers here to see if it is bent, which Chris says it's highly likely to be bent. Alright, so the block is now in the spinner here. Let's give it a good hot rinse. And then once that's been there for 10 minutes, we're going to come and drop it in the acid bath. And it's going to sit in the acid bath for a few days, maybe even a week, to get it nice and clean, because there is so much gunk that come out of the water jackets and everything. So once that's all clean, then we can start assessing the damage on the block. But as for now, I'm going to help Chris with a few little things here, get them cleaned up, to help him out, and then start pulling down my heads. Hopefully they can be saved. Alright, so I'm about to disassemble these heads on this fancy machine here. Chris will show me through how to do it, and yeah, it should make disassembly of these heads much easier. So I'm keen to get these all stripped down in the hot tank, cleaned up, and then assess the damage. So let's get stuck into it. Alright, so back down here at Harman Engine Reconditioning, and the motor and heads have been sitting in the acid now for a week. So I'm going to pull these out now, give them a good clean up. The heads are going to be bead blasted, and then we're going to proceed with crack testing the head and block to hope there's no cracks, or whatever is cracked is hopefully repairable. So let's get stuck into this today. So next up is the block. Heads tested up really nice. There's no cracks in it. Even the one that's got damage with the broken valve, there's no cracks in those heads. Next up is the block. We have gone over this already, and the only thing that I can find so far is the bore which copped a hit with the piston were disintegrated. We'll show you some of the damage that this thing has caused and show you how this stuff works. Alright, so that's a wrap on this week's episode, guys. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I want to say a huge thanks to Chris from Harman Engine Reconditioning and the team down there, and also of course Dave Lee for building this engine for me. I can't wait to get this thing in the car, but unfortunately, as you guys know, I take on far too many projects, so it's going to be a little while before it gets its first fire up, but at least it's ready to go and it looks amazing. Chris down at Harman's has been amazing with showing me all the tricks of the trade and trying to get as much on that engine as I can done myself. So that's been pretty educational as well. I've learned so much in the last couple of weeks. There's a lot to come up on that motor, and also obviously a lot to come up with other cars on the channel. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, let me know what you reckon of these builds that we're up to, and I will see you all on an upcoming episode of the On Empire. And of course, don't forget to check out the online store. There still is a little bit of winter merch left, so snap up any of that before it all sells out. And of course, the new air fresheners to keep your rides smelling fresh. I'll see you all in that next episode. Cheers, guys.